What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's call. Today, let me go ahead and we're gonna pause that music for just a moment. We might have to come back because Chance is dropping right now. You know what I'm saying? But today is February 22nd, 2026, and I'm so grateful and blessed to be with you guys for another weekly Outlook call. Today we are going to be going over our, setups from this past week. We're also going to be talking about the week ahead. I have a lot of expectations for this week ahead, a lot of things that I'm waiting to see. I've actually already called our first trade of the week. We just took some CAD JPY buys to kickstart the week. Most people don't trade on Sundays. I typically don't trade on Sundays, but when the market tells you what it's going to do, you have to follow your system. So we are 15 pips, 15 plus pips in profit. Let me go ahead and send out that update. Um, Instant profit, 15 to 20 pips in profit. Bomb. And we're going to send that out. Bomb. And we're going to forward that. Small group one, small group two. It sent it ugly though. Small group one, small group two. I'm instant profits. Beautiful, yo. Beautiful way to start the week. Beautiful way to start the day. And hopefully that's just confirmation of things to come. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and kickstart this call. I'll start off here and now by saying that last week had me messed up just a little bit. I ain't gonna say I was completely throwed, but I will say that I was not able to find my footing, we'll say, um, for the most part of the week last week. Let's go ahead and I'll talk about a couple of ideas that I sent out. I actually had a number of ideas. My number one trade that I took or called this past week was our GBP USD buy side. My buy side was at 1.347 to 1.346, right in this area here. And essentially, my stop loss was 1.3435. Y'all could see how the market violated me, completely violated and hit my stop loss and then ran to hit my target one, my take profit one, right? Which was at 1.352, something like that, right? Following that, I re-enter the trade and I'm expecting for markets to maintain above here to create a higher low. So I put my stop loss to 1.344 this time. We hit my stop loss again. At this point in time, I can't take any more trades. I can't continue just spazzing at the, chasing the buys. We did trade into my structure perfectly, and I probably should have just given myself more space to start off with, but I've been trying to master my risk management, and just perfect these one to these 35 pip entries. You know what I'm saying? In addition to that, I also called a sell on what other trade did I call? So I called GBP JPY twice. Oh, I called NZD JPY as well. No, GBP USD, and I called NZD JPY as well. You can see how that did me. We did fantastically well. We actually were able to capture a 25, 30 pip uh, profit. I unfortunately did not secure my profits there. I expected for markets to take the highs and we did not take the highs. We are still trading in that sideways structure. So markets eventually traded back and I got stopped out again. Tough week, tough week. But if you can realize the structure hasn't really changed much, nothing really has changed. At the end of the week, you guys, this is the one that I'm kind of embarrassed by, is that after buying and I was selling the dollar all week selling the dollar all week. I finally give up. And I'm like, maybe I was wrong. I'm trying to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, as we grow, One of the important things is admitting when you are wrong so that you can correct it. So I finally say, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I read it incorrectly, and the dollar is actually buying. So what I did was, after seeing some sell side, sell side, sell side, I entered my sells on the Australian dollar, as I should have waited for us to break the lows and then trade from there. But I saw lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and I entered this AUD trade, and it hurt my feelings. So, with that being said, the market owes me some money, right? Say the market owes me some money. Say the market owes me some money. Money. You understand? Market owes me some money. So I got smacked around last week, right? And I just like, I really didn't appreciate it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to get my bag back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just joking because we don't chase the trades. That's not what's happening here. We are going to find our flow. We're going to find a rhythm for the week ahead, right? We're going to take the opportunities that present themselves. We're going to continue following our system, and we are just going to take the opportunities that present themselves. There's no lick back. I ain't mad at you, market. We cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, no hard feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's just your job. I feels you. You know what I'm saying? I feels you. Me and the market, we got a good relationship. We love each other. Market loves me, right? Right. I ain't got no animosity towards it, right? We gonna bow out, right? Uh, but with all that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and just jumpstart the call. We'll start this week as we start every week, and we'll do a quick review of the news just to make sure that we're not blindsided. We can see Sunday we do have retail sales that came out for that New Zealand dollar. They came out positive, right? They came out positive for let me see, make sure this man headset is connected. My guy, that's my brother, the one that I was just talking to you guys about. That I said I got my brother in the other group. That's my guy Sykes right here on the call. You guys will get more acquainted. He got his camera on too. Let me see that man, cause I don't got my camera focused on nobody. Where's the camera at?
Y'all
Ozzy.
related.
Yo, that's my brother right there. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother in Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's good, guys?
What's
Welcome in,
happening?
bro.
This is
Man,
honestly gonna be part of like the inner circle, the squad that's coming up. You're in these two just they're the graduates from the previous boot camp, and you're gonna be coming in on this new boot camp. Oscar has like 6 years of experience, and we just were able to bring him up so he can start sending out his trade ideas and his signals now too. Wheezy over here, Wheezy's energy, you know what I'm saying? I can't describe it any other way. He is energy. So he's coming through. He's on every call.
where are they
He
at? Where are they located?
Ozzy's in they're both on the West Coast actually.
Las
Okay, nice.
Vegas.
Vegas and what, Cali, right? So we got Vegas, Cali, and Texas and
Yep, yep.
Florida in the
Yo,
building
do I
right
know
now.
Wisdom? Do I know
You,
Wisdom already or no?
you might know Wheezy. That man's
Yeah,
a
you
little
might
famous.
you might know me, but
He's a little
you look
famous.
you look familiar too.
Is that is the nigga that do tattoos?
Oh nah, you don't know me.
Oh, okay, never
I
mind.
definitely don't do that.
He said that's a
No, no,
different
I
never mind. My
Wheezy.
fault. No,
I
I
end
knew
up fucking
somebody
your
else
tattoo
though.
up, man.
He said that's a different Wheezy.
My fault, my fault.
You good, my brother? You
But we
good?
gonna tap in. We gonna tap in. I'll make sure that you guys get introduced. We'll set up time for the next call coming up. But we'll go through this call very quickly because this one is recorded, and we'll go again and get that posted, so I won't make it too long. But today we have NZD sales, retail sales. We'll go and see how the New Zealand dollar has reacted. It was positive news. We've got FOMC news on Monday. ECB President Lagarde speaks on Monday. So we got some orange folder USD and orange folder Euro news. Nothing I'm too concerned about. Biggest news we have AUD CPI. So Ozzy, if you had a hard time last week, or if the market didn't seem so certain with the AUD pairs, it may be because we have some major AUD news coming up this week. I'm gonna lean on you to be our eyes on the Australian dollar. You feel me? Don't feel forced to send out anything that is not in alignment with your basis and your bias. However, if you see it, believe in yourself, my guy, and call that shit.
Yep.
And we rocking out together, my guy, win or loss. With
I'm
that being
already
said,
I'm locked in right now. I have literally I'll probably wait for the news to give me the best opportunity, but I'm open-minded, but I got my
you got your
positions
basis.
ready. Yeah, basically.
Yes, sir. Excellent, man. So we'll go ahead. We'll talk about that throughout the week. You can share them in both groups. I added you to both of the communities to the next boot camp as well. So you can put it in ours for sure. But if you know are feeling generous and you want to start a little conversation, so you can pick your eyes out on the ones who are truly locked in, you could drop them in both groups. But Wednesday we have some more AUD news conversation, and then we have unemployment claims on Thursday for the US dollar. It's not a very, and then we have PPI. That's going to be probably the biggest, best time of the week. We got GDP for CAD. Um, this whole week, we're all technical. You know what I'm saying? There's not any news to accelerate the market or to, throw us off guard. We'll be looking at the news from last week, and the things that we saw last week. We were negative on PMI last week. We did have a positive new home sales, so this is negative for the dollar. We got a little bit of a mixed bag. This news from last week is potentially what drove down the dollar this week to start off the week, right? We have to now go ahead and say, are things aligning in a way that support um, that trend continuing, right? So you already know me, like I like the news so that it doesn't blindside me. However, we keep it. I like to keep it technical. You feel me? I'm a technical kind of a guy. You know what I'm saying? So what I do is I start off on my dollar index off the rip, right? And I try to get a perspective on where the dollar is going, because where the dollar is going, the rest of the market will follow. And my bias has been that the market will, at some point in time, trade back into the 101 area here, right? It's a big ask, it's a big push, but I still have my news don't scare me either, my boy. But I still have some buy side expectations from the dollar. It's just a matter of where do we buy from. Now, let me break down to you why I have some buy side expectations. Number one, we have these equal highs here. These equal highs to me are very suspicious. I like to target them. I will be targeting these equal highs. We also have some imbalances that we see here, maybe on the daily time frame, or let's see the 4 hour time frame. We have this is a very clear imbalance that price should trade back to. But then we also have levels up here that we can see price trade to, and we have levels here that we can see price trade to, but we definitely should see price trade to here, even if we are to be sellers on the long term, right? We would see price trade into structure and then see price trade away, even if this is actually a bearish movement, right? So with all that being said, we have these equal highs here just as well, right? This is actually a higher high. So I'm actually looking to enter my dollar buys on a higher low, right? So now I look at this and I say, okay, there's a potential that price trades from here to here, right? We just come and take this low. Maybe we use this little pattern right here, this like kind of railroad, or we called them back in the day when I first learned it. My mentor, one of my first mentors, called this like a what did he call it? He would call this movement like a first time back, where you see this hesitation move, price breaks out, and the first time back that we're looking to move into structure here is when we're looking to enter this trade, right? Something like this on the dollar would be potential for me. I like the slope of this buy side, and then the breakout. Price comes and trades back. We create a higher low, and then we break out. I like this area right here in general. You know what I'm
I've s-
saying?
can I
Talk to
talk
me.
or
Talk
no?
to me. Absolutely, bro.
Um, so I love your setup, and also I've seen a lot lately that when price is coming back, especially a pullback on like a bigger move, it sometimes, and it's not something, it's not like a guarantee, but it's sometimes though that order block, that
Mhm.
wick, put a line on that wick, and that could be the exact price that it bounces off of. Put a line on that and go down to the smaller time frames. I want to see but on the top of it, because it's not, look, the bottom is the actual
All right,
base
all right, slow
support,
down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Let's make
but
sure
the
we're on the
top
same
of that
page.
wick, that red wick,
Slow down, right here.
yes,
I love that.
right there,
I love
right
that.
there.
I love that. That is essentially what I would be looking at. So I love that. I love your eye in that. And honestly, we could see price trade back into structure here. Honestly, I'm not going to teach too much on this. This is just the weekly outlook. We'll be teaching more in closed settings. But I would certainly be using, I like this wick right here just as well. I do like that structure. I might actually highlight the whole area here, but trades into the bodies, I think that would be good to go. So yeah, Sykes, definitely will be looking forward to your perspectives and your analysis and your eye. As we go through it, we'll just run through everything quickly
And
here
then
now today.
waiting for a
Yeah,
W as well. That's
yeah,
my biggest thing.
we'll talk more about it, bro. I appreciate your
Okay.
perspectives. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna just run through it quickly because we have this one recording, and we'll talk more as we get into things. But with that being said, yeah, we could expect to see a sell side on the US dollar, and then from that point in time, see some buy side coming out of that area. With that being said, obviously we're not just trading the DXY, we're going to be trading the currencies that trade with and against the dollar itself. So that might be things like our USD CHF trade that we have been consistently buying over this period of time. We were able to call the buys from 1.610. And then we actually had Ozzy call the sell side on this position just as well. Once we went into this sideways consolidation, he ended up calling this close to like the 776 level. And I think he was able to catch that for almost 100 pips or so, something like that, back into the lows. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, that market has created the lows, right? We have our low, we now have our higher low, and then we have our equal lows here, right? We can expect that price, this is on the 4 hour time frame, there's a potential for price to trade all the way back into our lows to potentially sweep these lows before trading around. Does that quite align with the dollar? Not quite, because this dollar shows like it could pull away faster than that. So I might also look to see if price makes any structure in this area here, right where we have swept these lows. Price can trade back into structure, mitigate this imbalance, and then trade to that lower level potentially, where we might see our buy side move. At that point, we might have like a kind of a W long right. Besides, don't touch that. Don't do that. No, it's not. This girl's touching buttons on the back of my computer. I just see random stuff, icons popping up. Like, bruh, forgot my computer was touchscreen. Anyways, we could see price buy back into structure here, maybe come and retest here before we see continued downside. Or we could also see price just continue to buy from there. So we're going to be watching these markets as they go. We are currently on the sell side of USD CHF unless we break back above here. Buys from this level, although they could pay out, they would be a little bit riskier potentially. There is opportunity. However, I'm going to be waiting. We're close to our psychological levels, to our quarters. So I'll be watching that, right, on USD CHF. USD CAD, we have some sell side coming in now. We also have those same imbalances up here that I would expect to see price trade to. We also have an imbalance to the sell side as well. We could see price trade into this level before going higher, right? But we're definitely seeing that curve and we're definitely seeing a lower high here. So we kind of want to see how price reacts here. We don't have to rush into the trade and try to make a decision here. It's a matter of we've already confirmed that we have a lower high and our high. Does price trade immediately into this structure here and then give us our buy side positions from here, right? If that's the case, then we have stop losses below here. honestly, sometimes we can also see price trade even below that. So this is a potential buy side from here if the market trades back down to mitigate this imbalance and to create structure here. We could see that happen, or we could see price even trade from here. So all in all, I do see sell side on USD CAD in the short term. Um, which is a positive thing because I believe that we just called some CAD JPY buys. So those things would work hand in hand with each other. But as we move forward, what we're also seeing is that we're seeing some rejections already on the Australian dollar. We did get a spike. Spike came in to mitigate. All right, this spike comes in. We actually sweep these highs right here, right? This might be what you're seeing, Oscar. But we sweep these highs here, price comes in, and we kind of mitigate this imbalance right here. That's kind of right at that wick, like what Sykes was just talking about, kind of on the opposite end. And then we get the rejection from here. It's possible that price trades lower from here. I would want to see something more like this, a break back below structure, right? I want to see the confirmations on this because we don't want to take too many attempts this week. And then we would be selling from one point to the next 703, to is that like 100 pips? Huh. That would be a smooth trade, right? Or it's possible that we have a higher high that's been created here and that price can trade down to here and then create a higher high from there. I do see Oscar. What are you thinking, my guy?
So is my oh yeah. So going to 4 hour right there. You see the left head and right shoulder of that break right there, of the
Hmm.
highest point. Yup, right there. So I see a left shoulder and a right shoulder,
Is the left over
and
here or where are you seeing the left? Here or
closer to price. Yeah.
here?
So that would be the right shoulder, and that big spike where you have a big imbalance
Hmm.
at the very highs of 0.71, about 0.712 right there. That'll be the head. So that's the head, and right to the left of it, below that blue line is the left shoulder. And then of course below the right, yeah, right there, head and shoulders right there. So I'm waiting to see what price does around here. If we break that left, or if we break the shoulders, I believe it's going to invalidate the head and shoulders, which would put us back into bullish territory.
Hmm.
And then if we continue to reject like we are right now, I believe, like you said, it is better to wait for that more confirmation of it breaking the previous lows and retesting that 0.73 level. That would be a good entry as well, right there, because it's obviously gone down to that level about 2 or 3 times already, and it's already gone right back up. So it's like it's in a area of consolidation that I'm waiting at.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
So
I'm chilling. I could rush it. You can see it's pulling away already, but we have this big wick here. It's either
yeah, the
this big wick, lasts and it happens, or we actually get a body closure that comes back up into here, which could give us a cleaner entry, maybe right here or right here. But I am looking to. I'm patient. If
yeah,
this closes back below here, then we got a 100 pip trade back to the lows and we might have a bigger move. I believe that we eventually come and sweep these lows and this gap that's here it gets filled and we trade to these imbalances down in here. But we just got to be patient and wait on it. Like I said, if you see it this week, you call it, my guy. You got the go ahead for me. As we move forward, we have our NZD. The only thing about NZD that would also throw me about AUD is that, and you guys remember I had a conflict last week. There are equal highs here, and then we do have a little bit of an imbalance here. So I was curious if we would buy off of structure, maintain these lows, trade all the way back to the highs, which would extend us out quite a bit. That's a whole 60 pips away. It's nothing crazy. However, that is in the realm of possibility for me. So I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be mindful this week, that this is a possibility, a possible chance. It's also possible that we use this order block and we just reject from here. But then we also have some imbalances here just as well, to where price can trade to any one of these places, to here, or even up to here. So there is upside possibility and potential for me, with the biggest opportunity for me personally being at the sell side of this individual move, right? We have the best risk to reward if we're able to sell from one side to the other. We've got a 1 to 5. This would be the cleanest opportunity of the week for me on this trade itself. Right now, if I were to enter sells on NZD, I would have to, do something like this, and we would have a 1 to 3, so it's a 1 to 3 versus a 1 to 5, just about. And this is actually a little bit riskier because we still have this gap up here where price can trade back to, you know what I'm saying? So I might have to do a 60 pip, 1 to 1.6, or I might have to just wait. So all in all, my mind is telling me just wait, even though I could take this sell because we're already in. That's already 15 pips profit, bro, since we just called this. That's already 15 pips that the market's already moved, right? And, typically, if it wasn't a Sunday, that could be an entry, and then this could be a compound position. Because by the time we get down here, we're already up 60 pips. You know what I'm saying? We're going for a full 160. So after 60 pips, I could take a 10-cent lot. I would be up $60. And then here I might trade with $30 of that equity. Maybe I secured partial profits, and then maybe I'm using that to build a bigger position below these lows. And maybe when we break below here, I do it again. That's how we're going to get into, being able to trade from intraday to scalping to swinging. We're going to look at the longer term positions, but once we have that, we're going to find areas and opportunities to build on that. As we continue forward, like I said, we have upside. This could never happen. This might just be my skeptical brain being like, how can the market screw me? But all in all, y'all can see that I've been a seller on the New Zealand dollar, and we are below our quarter level. Y'all have seen me screaming out, this is where we are, this is where we are, and I really have a bigger view for this New Zealand dollar. I believe it can go to the downside. So, of course, that will take the Australian dollar with it, only in the situation where the dollar buys, like we initially said. GBP USD. This was my trade of the week last week, that I just told you guys how I screwed it up. We bought off of this block here. I literally entered at 346, 347. Wait, baby. Wait. Yeah, give me 25 minutes. Um, and price literally wicked me out by not even 1 pip. This was my stop loss literally, and markets immediately went to hit my take profits 1 and 2, which is insane. But that's how it goes. It actually hit take profit 1, going to 2, and then we have Euro USD, who did the exact same thing. These are Euro USD is what gave me the clearest indication that we were ready for the buy side here, right? We're trading it back to the highs. We do have some equal highs here. Do I expect to see price come and sweep this? I don't really see that many imbalances above that we would have to mitigate, but it's potential possible that we trade into maybe like here, if we do. So that's a potential, so there's a lot of potentials and not a lot of conviction right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not very convicted by this current market, but I'm just going through and I'm reviewing. NAS 100. I think that I'm going to be looking at futures this week. We can see some buys on NAS right here. We're looking at this block right just as well, right? Price trades back inside. And if there is any, and then we get this trade, this trade back to structure. So this could be something that we could see. This would be the opportunity, right about here. Stop losses below the low, and really, buy side is, pretty crazy. USD CAD was looking at that same area. Yep. So we'll see. If this sells, we could see some buyback on NAS. We have equal highs here. equal highs here, imbalance here. We could see some buy side on Nas. I don't know if it's long term or short term. Um, However, I do actually anticipate some bigger sell side, I believe, on Nasdaq, right? I really do see some bigger sell side. It's just a matter of whether we mitigate these imbalances here and here, whether we buy off of this structure right down here um, into here, and then we sell. These are our highs, and we are, yeah. So that's what I have for the USD list at this point so far. Oil, I haven't taken any oil trades yet. You know, I've just been analyzing it for myself, making sure that I have a view on where it is. I don't really have a bias on this oil market yet. Still trying to figure out how the news with Venezuela will. Yep. So we're gonna see how this ends up moving. I'm keeping my eyes on this one. This is definitely added to my list at this point in time. Price could have traded here, reject. I do believe that we have to trade lower, and that the biggest opportunity is going to be the buyback from here. It's just a matter of what drives us lower. How do we get there? You know, obviously, as they increase the inventory, I would expect to see them, you know, decrease the cost of oil. That's what we're waiting for at this point in time. We're still trading at the pre Venezuela levels, so I'm curious about that. Jumping over to our JPY list, our first opportunity of the week has been with our CAD JPY, right? Or let's go ahead and we'll just look at the basket as a whole. On our JPY basket at this point so far, we have been the biggest advocates of this JPY strength. And I think that this week is really going to solidify something for us. It's going to show us exactly where markets are moving, right? Essentially, if we go and we get this bullish engulfing candle on the week this week, to where we have our buy side markets traded lower to retest or to mitigate this area right here. And then we have another big buy side candle come and trade up here. The sky is the limit. That's why this is like blue, because above here, markets can do whatever they want. However, that's what the market looks like on the weekly time frame. When I dial these things back to the daily time frame, I do see an imbalance here that we can aim to mitigate, right? To where we could see price potentially trade higher first into here, use this order block, right? Since we're between two blocks, use this block and then reject and go lower. You know what I'm saying? Into here. I would be looking to find the higher low at this point in time. Maybe we use this structure right here and we're looking for the long-term buys. Because remember, you guys, I told you I'm long-term buying this. But do we go straight there right away, or do we give a little hezzy move? You know what I'm saying? A little fake out, a little pump fake. Trade structure, price sells. We bought. You see, I already got the alert set. I had the alert set from last week, right? We didn't get there, right? We started selling. We actually can go ahead and do something else like this. Maybe we use our fibs and we draw our fibs on here from high to low. And as we draw them from high to low, we go ahead and say, you see exactly where that's at, right? Maybe we trade back into our structure and that becomes like our fib level that we buy off of, right? So all phenomenal things. That's exactly what I'm looking for on the JPYs. What does that mean? That means that if this, you can see the only hesitation that I have right now is how clean this Australian dollar, Japanese yen looks on the sell side. It looks like we came and we tested structure. We bought off of here. It looks like price comes down. Like we have an imbalance here that we can trade to. This is almost a lower high right here, like, well, it is a lower high. It's like price just traded back into structure, traded back above here, and now we get this rejection, right? So that's what I'm seeing on the Australian dollar. I wouldn't buy or be buying or selling this right now just because I like to buy or sell at the top, buy at the bottom, and we're trading in the middle of this current move. So the market can go either way. If, however, this Australian dollar, I do expect that number one, that we need to trade at least back to mitigate, at least to mitigate, what did I just do? That's fine, that can go. To mitigate this imbalance, right? I would expect for price to trade back to at least here, 50 pips, which will be a take profit one hit on my CAD, most likely before we continue to sell. If price buys up to here but doesn't create a higher high, I would expect for maybe us to sell from here, target this low, and eventually we have all of these lows in here for price to trade back into the structure. That is a possibility, right? CAD JPY, however, and am I not liking this anymore? What's going on? So we immediately caught this 15 pips. CAD JPY has done something interesting. We have our low, then we have our higher low, price goes and trades above. We have our internal structure, right? So we have our highs here, lower highs. Price breaks above. We clear these highs. Price trades back into structure. We mitigate this imbalance kind of just with a wick, not with a full body closure. And we immediately trade back to the highs. When we trade back to the highs, my targets are this wick here, as well as this body here, right? This imbalance candle here, as well as this imbalance here, and then this zone right here is really my final target, right? This structure right here. I like that a lot. Oh, look, that's exactly where I have my targets. Oh, Sam. That's exactly where I have my targets. But you see this that we have here? We got our left shoulder here. This is where we took the original sells from when we broke down this whole CAD play. And we were just like, you remember this, Ozzy? We were literally trading in this structure here. And we were breaking this down. I actually took my first sells right here. Then price swept and I was able to catch a cleaner entry here. And then we traded back into structure. I believe price has to trade back to our entry. I don't think we're getting away that easy. People's like, yeah, we're in CAD forever. No. This is my ultimate sell. If we trade back to here and reject, I would want to hold CAD for the year. Like, I want to hold it for the next 90 days, you know what I'm saying, as long as I possibly can, after we get the pullback to structure and then price sells from there. I want us to be in this and be holding, swinging. On the short time frame, Wheezy, as you can see, we're on the 1 hour time frame rather than the higher time frames at this point. On the shorter time frame, we can see that exact same kind of a order block, that railroad. We got our buy side, sell side, Hezi, price trades away. We create a higher structure above these previous highs. Now price trades back into that structure. This is a good point. That's why I took the sells or took the buys on CAD JPY, because I could see us trading back above that. If we do, that becomes a 1 to 5. We risk 40 pips for 200. Phenomenal risk to reward. We can enter that at the beginning of the week. This is the time of the day to where we can see some of these entries on the JPY pairs during Tokyo session, weekly open. We see the market immediately sold off. It's not that the market opened and we started buying, right? We would have been down 50 pips, but the market sold and then it hit a rejection, hit structure, right? And as it hit structure, we're now seeing price pull away. At our highs, we were up about 15 pips. We are now just about 2 to 7 pips in profits from the lows. We just simply want price to trade above here, stay above this level. So our risk management can be tightened damn near at this point already, to where we're just looking at a trade like this. We have a 15 pip risk at the most. If price trades below here, I would be ready to exit the trade. I was high key. Remember, I was anticipating going stop loss to break even at 112.75. You see what the market did. It traded back, but it could not get to our 112.75. And definitely now that price is pulling away, if I get a bullish engulfing candle, we're risk free. And we're going to be, all positions are going to be risk free from 112.8 to 112.7. And everything in between will be risk free and good to go to the buy side. We're seeing the same thing on GBP JPY. My guy Sykes, this is one of the pairs that he likes a lot, just as well. So we'll have his expertise on our GBP JPY trades. We do have a lower or a higher low that is being formed here. Maybe stop losses below this structure here, and price trades into this imbalance, sweeps these lows, and we trade back to the highs to mitigate this imbalance, right? That is a 1 to 1.3. It's not a good enough trade for me, but guess what? This becomes a 1 to 6 really quickly. I just can't find multiple targets in between. That's why I chose CAD JPY. But if you look at GBP JPY, what you'll see is that we have our high, and then we kind of have a higher high where price traded upwards. So this confirms a buy side for us. This trade, actually, I could probably tighten this stop loss, make it just like that. And now we have our prime time entries at 208.5 to 208.4. Should I call another trade to start the week already? Oh, what do I do? Because this is stupid right here. I think this will hit, and this would be a 10 pip risk right here because we would use this current candle, this 1 hour candle. We would expect that the lows of this candle are already in. I'm not going to send this one, but what we'll do is we'll take documentation. This is a trade right here, y'all. Oh, that's why I'm not going to take it, because this is a potential also, right? But we'll take documentation of this one because I think that this could be a banger. I think that this could be a banger. Anybody that wants it could have it. Let's clean this up. This could be a banger. The reason why I'm saying it could be a banger, but I haven't entered it myself, is simply because of the fact that I already have JPY exposure. I'm already in the Japanese yen in regards to the CAD JPY. So now to add GBP JPY, I would just simply be increasing my exposure beyond what I'm currently comfortable with. And with that being said, if the JPY decides to pivot in a way that I didn't expect, then I'm now looking at 2 losses instead of just 1. The best thing for me to do is to wait until I get to a position to where my position is risk free. That could be at the break of this high here. Or I could do some real gangster stuff, you feel me, and call another buy right here, which is what I might do, because I think that's pretty G. You know what I'm saying? Pretty G. Now you got 2 trades that are running, and when one of them hits, everybody's up. You know what I'm saying? So I might be able to get risk free on CAD JPY and then add another position there just as well. And have everybody floating for the week. We might have 1 trade for the whole week. Probably not, but you know what I'm saying. Mexican peso JPY broken into structure, traded above, and we're still trading back below structure. This is not showing me any buy side. I don't see buy side here, which is interesting. This line is just in the ether, just floating. I don't see buy side on the Mexican peso JPY. I just see sell side. We do have an imbalance here, and we have a gap, so that might be randoms. Yo, I just accept the random hugs when they come, because there's gonna be one day to where she's like, "Oh no, don't touch me, daddy. Oh, don't touch me, leave me alone." So I just take my hugs as they come. Uh, but what we could see, that would make this a stronger. You're hungry? Okay, 1 second, baby. I got you. I gave you dinner and you didn't like it, so you gotta wait. We can see price trade below these lows, trade back into structure here. And then from this point in time, now we get the buys, right? Kind of still this one. I don't trade Mexican peso JPY, but because the Mexican peso is so weak, this responds dramatically, against everything else. I don't like this either. CHF JPY. I think that we still have some area down here that's about 40 pips to the lows ish, 30, 40. Potential. Maybe price has lower high here, right? We have a lower high here. We do have imbalances up here, right? I do believe that price can trade back up top, but we have a higher low, so we could see price buy off of here and maybe we get something like this. And then we buy into the highs and then we make our next decision from there. That's the potential. Um, yeah, but I don't like either of those. NZD JPY is not showing me anything that says buy side whatsoever. Even though I was on the buy side this past week, we are still trading in this consolidating range here, right? So there's no break of it. We do have this breakdown here that draws my attention, higher low. So this is a point to where if the market were to pivot, it would have to pivot here, right? It's not so much about like what does the market want to do. It's a matter of if there is buy side in this market on NZD JPY, it would have to happen here because we're back at the bottom of the range again. And we need to break out of this box that we're in to the buy side or to the sell side. There's big sell side, but do we have the strength to do that right away? That would change the direction of the overall market. Mexican peso and CHF JPY currently not showing. CHF JPY more so than the Mexican peso. We got that little doji forming. Maybe we do see buy side. NZD, we would need buys from here. These are like the riskier, but the premium trades because that's 25 pips on this one, right? And just trading it back to the highs would be a 1 to 2. That's not even thinking about like a break of the highs. That's an easy 1 to 3. And that's not thinking about all of the imbalances up here that price can trade to. So there is an argument for why the buy side would be more appealing than the sell side currently. If I look at the sell side on this, from where we are now, my stop loss would have to be above the high immediately. That just doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't work because my regional take profit would have to be like here. This would not make sense. So the best option for me, and then of course we would target here and we would target there. Even that doesn't make sense. And that's like one of the best alternatives on the sell side right now. So the sells don't make sense, but the risk to reward on the buy side does make sense because we might see here, but then we might also see price trade up to here. And if we do, we now got a 1 to 9 as opposed to a 1 to not even a 1, a 0.5 to 1 type stuff. Euro JPY is showing us it is leading the way, leading the direction. We can see that price has traded back into structure without creating a lower low. This again would be like the best opportunity for the buy side because anything below here, and I'm not saying that I'm buying any of these, but anything below here, below the lows, we are now sellers in this market. This would be the breach, right? Touch here, sell below here. We look to enter the sell side here, right? We do have some imbalances here, but we have lower highs here. That would be our sell side alternative, and we would target the lows on that. However, for me, if we look to the left, just as long as price stays above here, above here, above here, right? I'm still a buyer in this market. Although we created a lower high, we haven't created a lower low, right? So markets essentially could be trading into not a downtrend, but more of a, you know, more of like a bullish. Ozzy might know the patterns better. You know what I'm saying? A bullish wedge, right? We see price trading into here, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows. False breakout to the downside potentially, big buys to the upside potentially, is how those things typically work. Sometimes we'll stay in the same pattern as we were already going. And the fact that we have these lows right here, Euro JPY to me gives me confidence to the buy side, right? we could surely see some buy side from here, trading back into our structure here with our stop loss right below these lows. That still gives us a 1 to 4, and the stop loss isn't even as tight as I would like it. I would like to do something more so, like this. You know what I'm saying? And now we got a 1 to 6 risk to reward. GBP, JPY, we already talked about this one. We could see that pull from here. I do like the CADs towards the top of the list better than the ones towards the bottom of the list. CAD JPY, I don't see anything. I think that our entry was so premium. We might actually be able to trade lower into here on the 30-minute. On the 1 hour, that doesn't exist. We have like a little handshake here with these wicks. On the 4 hour, that doesn't exist. So I'm not going to focus on that so much. But there is a potential that price trades lower into here. 6-8, which is literally the bottom of our structure, right? But anything below that, I would say that this is not in alignment with what I'm looking for. And they all look like they're getting ready to turn that way right now. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not about to change anything. Not about to make any adjustments yet. We will see how markets respond to these levels here. But that's what I have on the Japanese yen as well as the US dollar. Lastly, we will take a quick look at gold. Gold is in a very interesting place. Testing this block right here, right? Let's see what this would be. Highs here. That's 200 pips, even that, right, to the highs, right? If you use just the immediate highs, that would still be, that's 40 pips, right, to take sells from here. The stop losses. See, I can't do it, bro. I just can't get it, bro. I ain't even gonna, like, maybe I can make it tighter. It just doesn't work with my risk management plan. No matter how, I'm on a 30-minute time frame right now. Like, no matter what I do, I just can't make it fit. But we do have these imbalances down here, these gaps, and we can see price trade into the lows here. Gold is a momentum pair, though. If you can catch it in momentum and just get risk free, just let that thing ride. But I just have a difficulty with it. Me and gold don't have a good relationship. But lastly, we got my Euro NZD. Euro NZD, beautiful buys off of the lows, right? Now we're testing the 38.2. We want to see what happens next. Do we break above this structure here and continue to go? We've got some imbalances here as well as here. Or do we give ourselves a little bit of a pullback here, sweep these lows? I think that we can pull back a bit further. Maybe we sell into here, and then we get our trade away from that point. So we will see, but that's all I have for you guys for this week. Only trade that we've called so far is our CAD JPY, which is doing exactly what we wanted it to do. I think I'm about to get bold, you guys. I think I'm about to get bold, and I think I'm about to call it again. 112.90, 112.80. Let's see. Oh, did I never provide an update in this channel? Lord have mercy, bro. See, I started providing the update, and then I think I was like, oh, my market's retracing. But that's it for this week, you guys, for this weekly Outlook call. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, and I'll stay on for just another couple of minutes if anybody has any questions or anything else that they'd like for us to